So it is that time of the season again where the playoffs are here. Tomorrow we've got the first legs going on, and in today's video we are going to be predicting the outcome of them. We got two cracking matches coming up. Aston Villa going up against West Brom and Derby going up against Leeds. I think we could be in for a really spectacular weekend of football. We've already seen it over the last week with some of the drama going on in the Champions League, but I think the Championship could throw up some interesting games this weekend for sure. As always, I want to know from you guys what you think is going to happen, so let me know your score predictions in the comments down below for the first leg of fixtures. When I ran the poll on last week's video saying who do you think is going to be the winner of the playoffs, Aston Villa were by far the favourites. They got more than 60% of the vote saying that you guys think that Villa will be the ones to go on and get promoted. So from your guys' verdict, they are firmly the favourites at the moment, but the other three sides, they're going to want to have a say about that. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, make sure you do leave a like, but apart from that, let's go ahead and hop into my score predictions. And so starting things out with the early kickoff on Saturday, we got Aston Villa going up against West Brom. I can already tell that this one's going to be a really feisty encounter. It's an interesting way going into the playoffs as to how both sides are going to approach this. I would probably say that West Brom would be happy to take a point from this game. West Brom fans, let me know down below what you would think of that. I think they'd be quite happy to sort of soak up the pressure from this Aston Villa side, look to go back to the Hawthorns with sort of a 1-1 or a 0-0 or something like that, and then try to turn it on a little bit more at home. So with that reason, I'm thinking maybe they'll hold back a little bit going forward, but the reason I think the opposite of that perhaps is because West Brom's main strengths so far this season have been going forward, and if they do try and sort of implement a game plan where they just try and limit Villa, look to hold out at what they have at the back, I'm not sure that West Brom side is particularly capable of that. We have seen a couple instances throughout the season with West Brom being a little bit dodgy at the back. I think they've only got one clean sheet from their last 8 matches. So for me, looking into this game, I would expect there to be goals. I'd be very surprised if both teams don't score in this game actually. Both sides came off a loss on the last day of the season, however in quite different circumstances. Aston Villa were defeated by Norwich City, who went on to win the league, but Villa had rested quite a few key players for that game. The opposite was going on with West Brom's game against Derby County. They did have pretty much a full strength squad out there, lost that game 3-1 in the end. I think looking into the performances lately of West Brom, they've not really been exactly stellar. You know, thinking back to the game they had against Derby before that, they just about got past against Rotherham by 2-1. I'm thinking that now is the time for them to turn it on. In the league, they've not really been playing for much in the last few weeks. You know, their playoff spot's been confirmed for a while now, and if the players aren't up for a playoff semi-final against Aston Villa, then I don't know what they will be up for. But West Brom certainly have the players going forward to hurt Aston Villa, and that's where I see their main strengths for this game. You know, having Dwight Gale and Jay Rodriguez in there is always going to be an interesting one. What I'm going to find very interesting for this game, though, is how West Brom try and deal with Jack Grealish. Everything for Villa at the moment is going through him. He's been their talisman this season. After coming back from injury, he's had some ridiculous performances in the Championship. He's got a ridiculously high average match rating, and this Villa side has their strengths with their attacking prowess. They've got a lot of different areas they can hurt you from. Players like El Ghazi from out wide, who scored 2 goals against West Brom earlier on in the season. Tammy Abraham's going to be coming back into the side after being rested against Norwich on the final day. Even Jonathan Kodji lately, who hasn't featured all too much for Aston Villa this season, has been scoring a lot of goals lately for Villa. I think this one's going to be a really open game of football. I don't think it's in either side's nature to really try and just limit the opposition and not have much going forward. When these two came up against each other earlier on in the season, they have had some dramatic encounters. The 2-2 draw at the Hawthorns in quite controversial circumstances, with Jay Rodriguez scoring a last-minute equaliser with his hand. That was surrounding controversy. The game at Villa Park, West Brom were quite comfortable in that one actually. They walked away with a 2-0 away victory. In fairness, that's when Villa were really not at their peak. They dipped down quite a bit in terms of performances, and it was soon after that game against West Brom where Villa really came into their own. I think the size has changed quite a bit since then. In terms of how I see this game going, though, I would be very surprised, like I said, if both sides don't score. I think that Villa are going to strike first in this one. West Brom are going to come back in the second half, and then maybe towards the end of the game, the last sort of 10 minutes or so, it's going to be quite an end-to-end game of football. I see both sides creating quite a few chances. It's just going to be who is the most clinical out of the two. I'd probably say that Villa are going to look to control the game and have a bit more of the ball, with them being the home side in this one, looking to impose their style of play on this West Brom squad. But it's just the thought of Dwight Gale going forward. You know, when Preston played West Brom earlier on in the season, when we got absolutely battered at the Hawthorns, Dwight Gale scored a hat-trick against us, and if your defenders go to sleep for just one split second, Dwight Gale's going to catch you out on the half-turn, running off their shoulder or something like that. So West Brom certainly stand a chance in this one. Villa are probably the favourites going into it. I think I'm just going to fancy Villa in this first leg for a 2-1 home victory, with FIFA also agreeing with me for that one, that Villa will walk away with a 2-1 to take to the Hawthorns. So it's an interesting game, that one. I'm just going to fancy Villa, but West Brom's certainly got a chance in that one. And then as the later kick-off on Saturday, we got Derby going up against Leeds United. Now this one could also be a really good game of football. I see both games being quite open actually. Earlier on in the season, we've seen Leeds have the better of this fixture. They beat Derby twice so far this season. They beat them 2-0 when they were playing at Ellen Road. And I think on the second day of the season at Pride Park, they were able to walk away with a 4-1 away victory. They completely dominated in that game. And so there's been a bit of build up to this one, of course, with it being Spygate and everything like that going on between Lampard and Bielsa. And for that reason, there could be a little bit of a bite in this one. I think from Derby's point of view, though, they need to take full advantage of them having the home leg at home first. Their away record in the Championship has been a little bit fluttery, but at home they have actually been very good. They've scored 15 goals in their last 4 home matches. And considering Leeds' defensive issues lately, Derby could take quite a bit of confidence from that. You know, looking at some of the goals they conceded on the last day of the season against Ipswich, some of Derby's attacking outlets, you know, the likes of Mason Mount, Harry Wilson, Tom Lawrence, Martin Wycon are going to look at that and think we could get something from this game for sure. But like I said, Bielsa has got a very good record against Frank Lampard so far this season. I think that Leeds in the league just need to put that end to the season behind them now. You know, that's completely gone. And I don't think Bielsa's the sort of manager who's going to let that sort of thing play on his squad's mind. I think he's going to get them ready and going for this game. And I know a lot of people probably will be writing off Leeds after the end of the season they had, but I've still got a feeling in the back of my mind that Leeds could do it this season. I think I'd say as well that Leeds probably do raise their performances when they are going up against the top 6 side. Looking at some of the games that Leeds have slipped up in so far this season, a lot of them have been against sides nearer the bottom of the table actually, so Leeds fans could take a bit of confidence from that, you know, and the record they've had so far against Derby. But so far this season, I believe that Leeds have created the most amount of chances per 90 minutes in the Championship. That doesn't come as a massive surprise. I'm in no doubt they'll create a lot against this Derby squad. The only problem with Leeds has been their conversion rate so far this season has been a little bit dodgy. They tend to create a lot per match, but it does tend to take quite a bit for them to get the ball in the back of the net. Even in the games that they've lost throughout this season, they'd still be creating, you know, over 15 chances or something like that. It's going to be on their forward players if they are going to come through this game, though. I would be very surprised if Leeds do keep a clean sheet for this game, though. I think that Derby's record at home has been very impressive. They've got people going forward who I think will look to get a bit out of this Leeds squad. I think they will score a couple of goals in this game. Bielsa's always got something up his sleeve, though, and I'm interested to see how he approaches this game. For my prediction for this one, I think I'm going to predict it to finish as a 2-2 draw. I can see quite a few goals being scored in this one. Derby are very good going forward. Defensively at times they can be caught out a little bit, and I think that Leeds will get their act back together. I truly think that. I don't think that their level of performances towards the end of the season in the last 3 or so matches will carry on into this game. I think Bielsa will get his players back ready for this one, but I still think defensively there could be a slip up in there or two. So for this one, I'm going to predict it to finish as a 2-2 draw, which wouldn't be the worst result in the world for either side really. The tie would still be very open going back to Ellen Road in midweek. So I'm going to say 2-2. FIFA's going to say it'll be 2-1 to Leeds. So it's going to be a fascinating watch whatever happens. But guys, there you have it. There are my predictions for the first leg of the Championship playoff semi-final. So do you agree with my predictions? Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to go on to make the final and get promoted? I think it's going to be a really good watch this year. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you did go on to enjoy, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for a bit of regular Championship content. And I'll see you all in the next one.